My chosen one, listen carefully. I, Archangel Michael, am standing at your front door right now. There is a spiritual intruder trying to enter, and only this message can stop them. Open quickly. This is not a coincidence. This is not random. You did not find this message by accident. The reason your heart feels unsettled, the reason your spirit has been restless in your own house is because something has been attempting to cross a boundary that was never meant to be crossed. Pause for a moment. Have you noticed strange tension in your home lately? Sudden arguments rising from nowhere. Exhaustion that does not match your workload. A heavy feeling when you walk into a specific room. These are not always physical matters. Sometimes they are signals. And I am here because a signal was sent from heaven. I am standing guard at your front door, not only the physical door of your house, but the spiritual entrance of your life. There is an intruder seeking permission. And understand this clearly, darkness cannot invade without access. It waits for agreement. It waits for fear. It waits for distraction. That is why this message reached you in this exact moment. The intruder is subtle. It does not knock loudly. It whispers. It convinces. It disguises itself as normal stress, as minor doubt, as just a bad day. But over time, it tries to build resonance. It tries to plant roots in your atmosphere. But hear me clearly. It has not succeeded, because before it could step inside, I was assigned. You may not see me with your physical eyes, but my presence is real. My sword is drawn. My stance is firm. And I am positioned between your destiny and what seeks to sabotage it. There is a reason the pressure increased recently. You are stepping into a breakthrough season. And whenever breakthrough approaches, resistance intensifies. The intruder senses that something is about to shift in your favor. It knows that doors of opportunity are near. It knows that restoration is close. So it attempts entry before celebration arrives. But it underestimated one thing: divine protection. Right now, as you are hearing these words, the atmosphere around your home is being evaluated. The corners that held heaviness are being exposed. The entry points that were slightly open through stress, fear, or negative words are being sealed. However, there is something you must understand. Protection is a partnership. I stand at your front door, but you must choose what you allow inside. Words matter. Thoughts matter. Energy matters. Conversations matter. What you entertain repeatedly becomes permission. That is why this message says, open quickly. Open your awareness. Open your authority. Open your spiritual eyes. Because the intruder does not fear your comfort. It fears your awakening. The moment you recognize what is happening, its power weakens. Let me reveal something deeper. This is not only about your physical house. Your front door represents your mind, the main entrance of your thoughts. Lately, something hath been knocking there, a discouraging voice, a narrative that says, you are behind, you are not enough, nothing will change. That voice is not yours. It is an intruder attempting to create resonance. And I am here to interrupt it. You have felt a battle you could not explain. You smiled in public, yet carried heaviness privately. You prayed, yet felt delay. You tried to rest, yet your thoughts kept racing. That is because the intruder tries to exhaust before it invades. But hear this carefully. It cannot cross the threshold unless you surrender authority. You were given authority long ago. You are not powerless. You are not unguarded. You are not abandoned. Right now, something is shifting. The air in your home is being cleared. The unseen tension is being confronted. The subtle influence trying to slip through is being identified. I am not here because you are weak. I am here because you are valuable. Targets are chosen based on worth. The intruder does not pursue empty houses. It pursues houses filled with purpose. And your house, your life, carries purpose. There is a calling attached to you. There is influence attached to you. There is future attached to you. And the enemy of your peace tried to slip in quietly before you realized how close you are to elevation. But it failed. Because heaven does not sleep. Right now, I need you to become alert, not afraid. Awareness strengthens protection. Fear weakens it. Do not panic. Do not overreact. Do not imagine shadows where there are none. Instead, stand firm in confidence. Your home is being marked with peace again. Your entrance is being reinforced. Your atmosphere is being reset. But this is only the beginning. There is more you must understand about how this intruder operates, and what specific doorway it tried to use. And when you hear that, everything that has happened recently will suddenly make sense. Beloved soul, lean closer now, because what I am about to reveal explains everything you have been sensing but could not name. The spiritual intruder did not attempt to break your door with force. It searched for a crack. It searched for a moment of emotional exhaustion. It searched for a day when you felt unappreciated, misunderstood, or tired of fighting battles no one else could see. But with the doorway it targeted. Understand this clearly, darkness rarely storms in loudly. It studies patterns. It waits for repetition. The intruder noticed the nights you overthought. It observed the words you spoke about yourself in frustration. It paid attention when you said, "Maybe this is just how my life will be." Those sentences, though spoken in weakness, began forming a small opening. But hear me now, an opening is not ownership. The reason I, Archangel Michael, am standing at your front door is because heaven monitors thresholds. And when a threshold is tested too many times, divine intervention is released. The intruder was attempting to turn temporary discouragement into permanent identity. It wanted you to accept limitation as destiny. It whispered, "Nothing is changing." It whispered, "You are alone in this." It whispered, "Stop expecting more." Those whispers were not random thoughts. They were strategic suggestions. And yet, something inside you resisted. Even when you felt tired, you did not fully surrender hope. Even when disappointment hit, you still searched for light. That resistance is why I was dispatched. Because you may bend, but you do not break easily. There is another layer you must understand. The intruder also tried to enter through distraction. It encouraged you to fill your time with noise so you would not hear divine direction. It nudged you toward comparison so you would question your timing. It attempted to make you measure your progress against people who are not walking your path. Comparison is one of its favorite tools. The moment you compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 10, dissatisfaction grows. And dissatisfaction, if not guarded, becomes an unlocked door. But this is where the shift begins. Right now, your awareness is sealing what was slightly open. As you listen to these words, something is being corrected in your spirit. You are recognizing the pattern. You are identifying the whisper. And once identified, it loses authority. Let me tell you something powerful. The intruder cannot operate where truth is spoken consistently. That is why your words matter. Your declarations matter. What you agree with internally shapes your atmosphere externally. When you repeatedly speak defeat, the environment aligns with that agreement. But when you speak life, even quietly, even imperfectly, the spiritual climate changes. You may not have realized it, but in recent days you started questioning negative thoughts instead of accepting them. You began feeling that something was off rather than believing everything you felt. That discernment was not accidental. It was the first sign that protection was activating. Now listen carefully. The intruder is still outside. It is lingering. It is hoping you ignore this message. It is hoping you scroll away, dismiss this as coincidence, or return to autopilot thinking. Because if you stay aware, if you stay grounded, if you continue listening, its access attempt will permanently fail. And this is where your participation matters deeply. If this message is resonating with your spirit, if you feel that what is being said matches what you have experienced, then do not stay silent. Engage with this moment. Like this video as a declaration that your door is guarded. Share it with someone whose home has felt heavy lately. Comment below and declare, "My door is sealed." Subscribe and become part of this protected community where light is consistently released. When you engage, you are not boosting an algorithm. You are amplifying protection over more homes. There is power in agreement. And as you continue watching, something even more specific will be exposed. The exact emotional trigger the intruder planned to use next. It thought you would not notice. It believed you would react impulsively. But heaven intercepted. Hold on to this awareness, because what is coming next will connect the final pieces together in a way you did not expect. Faithful one, something deeper is being uncovered right now, and you must stay spiritually alert because this is where the strategy of the intruder becomes crystal clear. The emotional trigger it planned to use next was not fear. It was offense. Yes, offense. It was preparing to use a misunderstanding, a harsh word, or an unexpected disappointment to stir something sharp inside your heart. Not because the situation itself would destroy you, but because your reaction to it could create a crack wide enough for spiritual heaviness to step through. Offense is subtle. It feels justified. It feels reasonable. It feels like self-protection. But if it lingers too long, it becomes a door. The intruder calculated that someone close to you would say something careless. It anticipated that a plan would not unfold the way you expected. It predicted a delay that would test your patience. And in that heated moment, it hoped you would declare something permanent out of temporary frustration. Because words spoken in emotional intensity carry unusual power. But heaven saw it before it unfolded. That uneasy feeling you had recently, that moment where you almost reacted but paused, that was not coincidence. That pause was protection. That restraint was divine assistance. I was already standing at your door, not only guarding your home, but steadying your response. Understand this clearly. The intruder cannot create circumstances, but it can amplify reactions. It waits for you to magnify the moment beyond its true size. It waits for you to say, "This always happens to me," where "I am tired of everyone," where "nothing ever works out." Those statements are seeds, and seeds grow. But today, something shifts. Because you are being warned before the next trigger arrives. Awareness dismantles ambush. When you know the strategy, you are no longer caught off guard. There is another layer you must see. The intruder was not only targeting your peace, it was targeting your unity. It hoped to create silent distance between you and someone who is actually meant to stand with you in the next season. Division weakens protection. Isolation increases vulnerability. But you are not meant to walk isolated. The heaviness you felt around certain conversations was not random irritation. It was tension trying to build momentum. The enemy of your peace understands that if relationships fracture at the wrong time, progress slows down. So I stand here as both guardian and revealer. Choose grace when offense knocks. Choose silence when anger tempts you. You obedience when impatience whisper. Every calm response becomes a reinforced lock on your spiritual door. And now, something powerful is happening even as you listen. The atmosphere around you is recalibrating. The weight that felt unexplained is being named. The pressure that felt personal is being exposed as strategic. And once exposed, it loses its intimidation. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are under observation because you are advancing. The closer you move toward purpose, the more subtle distractions attempt entry. But the assignment over your life carries protection. I do not stand casually. I stand commissioned. Right now, speak peace over your home. Even if you whisper it. Declare stability over your relationships. Affirm clarity over your thoughts. You are not fighting from panic. You are responding from authority. And here is what you must remember. Doors only open when turned from the inside. The intruder can knock. It can whisper. It can wait. But it cannot turn the handle without your consent. So refuse agreement with negativity. Refuse permanent conclusions based on temporary emotions. Refuse to let a single moment define your future. Because restoration is closer than disruption. There is something beautiful approaching your household. A new sense of calm. A restored connection. A breakthrough that will feel almost sudden. The intruder sensed it, which is why it rushed its attempt. But it was too late. Protection arrived first. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, if you feel that this warning aligns with what has been unfolding around you, then respond in faith. Type "My door is guarded" in the comments if this resonates with you. Lesson code 4591 has just been activated over your household. And as this seal is placed over your home, hear this final truth. When heaven guards a door, no unseen force can override that authority. Remain aware. Remain calm. Remain aligned. Because what tried to enter will now witness your elevation instead. As this revelation settles in your spirit, understand that this message is not just for you. There are thousands standing at their own front doors right now, unaware that protection has been dispatched. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping light reach another home before darkness can whisper. The word declares that when you give, it is given back to you pressed down and overflowing, and today that promise is breathing over you. I feel led to say this. I choose to become a gatekeeper for other households. Let your seed become oil that keeps the lamps burning in places that feel dim. This is a prophetic moment, not a casual offering. As you act, may protection multiply around your own door, and may provision meet you at unexpected thresholds. Step into this assignment now and release your seed with faith. Steady your heart, because what is happening now is not random movement in the unseen. It is repositioning. After exposure comes retreat. The spiritual intruder that attempted to test your threshold has recognized that its strategy has been uncovered. And when darkness is exposed, it does not argue loudly. It recalculates quietly. That is why the next few days may feel strangely calm, almost too calm. Do not mistake that calm for absence of activity. It is the silence of something that failed to gain access. I, Archangel Michael, remain at your front door not because I am unsure of victory, but because transitions require reinforcement. When a boundary is strengthened, it must be stabilized. And that is what is happening over your life right now. You may notice subtle shifts. The heaviness that lingered in certain rooms of your home may begin to lift. Conversations that once felt tense may soften unexpectedly. Your thoughts may feel clear when you wake up. These are not coincidences. They are signs that the atmosphere is being cleansed. But there is something even more important taking place. The intruder was not only trying to enter your present, it was attempting to interfere with your next instruction. There is guidance coming to you soon, an idea, a decision, a direction, and the enemy of your peace wanted your discernment clouded before that moment arrived. Confusion was a real target. If your mind is overwhelmed, you hesitate. If you hesitate long enough, you miss timing. And timing is everything when destiny is unfolding. Have you noticed how recently your thoughts felt crowded? As if multiple worries were speaking at once. That was not simple stress. That was layered distraction. The intruder wanted you mentally exhausted so that when clarity knocked, you would not recognize it. But you are regaining sharpness. Right now, your spiritual senses are being recalibrated. It may feel like renewed focus. It may feel like sudden insight about something you were unsure about. Pay attention to those moments. They are evidence that your internal door is no longer vulnerable. There is also a truth you must embrace with confidence. Protection does not mean absence of challenge. It means presence of authority within challenge. You will still encounter opinions. You will still face decisions. You will still experience moments that test your patience. But what has changed is your awareness. And awareness transforms outcomes. Let me speak directly to your heart. You are not fragile. The intruder misjudged your resilience. It assumed your recent fatigue meant surrender was near. It interpreted your silence as weakness. It confused your kindness for lack of boundaries. But you are learning to be peaceful without being passive. You are learning to be patient without being permissive. You are learning that grace does not require self-neglect, and that growth makes you spiritually fortified. I stand at your front door not only as guardian but as witness. I witness your discipline when you choose not to react. I witness your maturity when you refuse to escalate minor tension. I witness your courage when you confront your own negative patterns. Every small decision toward light strengthens your house. The intruder is now looking elsewhere, seeking easier entry points in places less guarded. That does not mean you relax into carelessness. It means you continue walking in awareness without anxiety. There is something powerful approaching your household, a shift in stability. It may look like improved communication. It may look like unexpected financial steadiness. It may look like emotional renewal. Whatever form it takes, it carries peace with it. And peace is the sign that the door remains sealed. You might still feel moments of testing, a random thought, a fleeting irritation, a sudden doubt. When that happens, do not panic. Simply recognize it and release it. A thought acknowledged and dismissed cannot root itself. Your authority is growing stronger each time you choose alignment over impulse. And here is something profound. The door you are guarding today will become the testimony you share tomorrow. Others will ask how your home regained balance. They will notice the shift in your tone, your energy, your atmosphere. And when they ask, you will know it was not luck. It was vigilance. It was partnership. It was divine intervention meeting human awareness. As you move forward, remember that not every knock requires attention. Some knocks are tests of curiosity. Some are echoes of past patterns trying to see if you still respond. You are not obligated to answer everything that seeks your focus. Discernment is now your doorkeeper. I remain positioned, but I also see your strength rising. And when strength rises within you, protection multiplies around you. The next phase will not be about defending your door. It will be about expanding what is inside it. Because once a house is secure, it can flourish, and flourishing is closer than you think. Braveheart, now that your door has been reinforced and the intruder has retreated, there is something even more important unfolding that you must understand. Protection was only in the first phase. Preparation is the next. When a house is secured, heaven does not leave it empty. It begins to fill it. And what is about to fill your atmosphere is not chaos, not confusion, not hidden tension, but clarity, order, and divine instruction. The spiritual attack was never the final story. It was a distraction before promotion. Yes, promotion. There is an elevation coming in your life that requires stability. The reason the intruder attempted entry before this shift is because it knows elevation without preparation creates imbalance. If your emotions were unstable, if your thoughts were clouded, if your relationships were fractured, the next level would feel overwhelming instead of empowering. So it looked like pressure was actually positioning. I, Archangel Michael, have not only been guarding your front door, I have been observing the foundation of your house, and your foundation is stronger than you think. You have survived seasons that should have broken you. You have endured silence when you expected answers. You have remained steady when others around you collapsed under smaller weight. That resilience qualifies you for what is coming. But listen carefully. Elevation requires discipline. It requires focus. It requires internal order. And that is why the last few days have felt like a reset. You may have felt a sudden urge to clean, organize, remove unnecessary things from your space. You may have felt prompted to distance yourself from draining conversations. You may have sensed a desire for simplicity. This is not random behavior. This is preparation energy. When a new season approaches, old clutter becomes uncomfortable. What once felt normal begins to feel heavy. That discomfort is a sign of growth. The intruder tried to lock you into old patterns. It wanted you to remain distracted by minor issues. It hoped you would argue about small things while missing bigger opportunities. But now that the door is sealed, your focus is shifting upward. There is something specific forming in your future, a decision that will define the next chapter. It may relate to career. It may relate to relocation. It may relate to a partnership or a personal calling. Whatever it is, it will require courage. And courage thrives in a protected environment. That is why your house had to be secured first. Understand this deeply. Peace is not just comfort. Peace is strategy. When your atmosphere is calm, you think clearly. When your thoughts are clear, your decisions align. When your decisions align, your path straightens. The intruder feared your clarity more than anything, because clarity leads to momentum. Right now, your mind is regaining sharpness. The fog that once lingered is thinning. You may begin to see solutions that were hidden before. Ideas may return to you that you abandoned too quickly. Confidence may rise quietly but steadily. Do not ignore these shifts. They are signs that the season is turning. There is also a refinement happening within you. You are becoming more selective about what you allow into your space. You are recognizing that not every invitation deserves your energy. You are learning that saying no can protect your yes. That maturity is powerful. And let me tell you something reassuring. The intruder cannot return the same way it tried before. That door is reinforced. That weakness has been identified. That emotional trigger has been neutralized. However, growth will still test you, not to break you, but to stretch you. Stretching feels uncomfortable. It feels uncertain. But it is not attack. It is expansion. You may soon find yourself stepping into conversations that feel bigger than your current comfort zone. You may be asked to lead when you once preferred to follow. You may be positioned in situations where your voice matters more than you expected. Do not shrink back. The reason you were protected so intensely is because your influence is increasing. A guarded door often hides a rising assignment. And here is the most beautiful part. You are not stepping into this alone. I remain near, not in anxiety, but in assurance. Protection does not withdraw when progress begins. It walks alongside it. The house that once felt heavy will begin to feel hopeful. The rooms that once held tension will carry anticipation. Your front door, once tested, now stands as a symbol of strength. The intruder wanted entry. Instead, it triggered your awakening. And awakening always leads to advancement. Now prepare yourself internally. Clear what no longer serves you. Guard your thoughts with intention. Speak life over your next decision before it even arrives. Because what is coming will require confidence. And confidence grows in houses that know they are protected. Warrior of light, now that your house is guarded and your foundation is steady, there is a deeper truth you must grasp before the next shift unfolds. Protection without purpose becomes comfort, but protection with purpose becomes calling. The reason I, Archangel Michael, am still positioned at your front door is not because danger remains near, but because responsibility is increasing. When heaven entrusts someone with peace after battle, it also entrusts them with influence. Your home is not just a building. It is an atmosphere, and atmospheres affect everyone who enters them. Have you noticed how certain people feel calmer when they speak with you lately? How conversations that used to escalate now soften in your presence? That is not accidental. The guarding of your door has changed the climate within you. And now that climate is impacting others. The intruder's failed attempt was meant to destabilize you so that you would unknowingly spread anxiety instead of assurance. Because when a person carries unrest, it transfers. But now that peace has been restored, something different is transferring. Stability. And stability is rare. There are people in your life who are facing doors of their own. Some are unaware that they are allowing discouragement to linger. Others do not even realize they have been entertaining thoughts that do not belong to them. You are becoming a silent example of what a guarded life looks like. But listen carefully. Influence must be handled with humility. Do not let pride whisper that you secured your door alone. Do not allow ego to claim credit for discernment that was divinely prompted. The moment protection becomes self-glorification, cracks begin forming again. Stay grounded. The enemy of your peace may not be able to enter through fear or offense anymore, but it will attempt something more subtle if given opportunity: distraction through busyness. Now that calm has returned, you may feel tempted to overfill your schedule, to say yes to everything, to prove productivity, to move constantly so you never sit still long enough to reflect. Be careful. Busyness can reopen doors that chaos could not. If your mind becomes overloaded again, clarity weakens. If your time becomes fragmented, discernment dulls. The intruder understands that exhaustion can mimic peace at first. It makes you feel accomplished, but slowly drains your awareness. Guard your rest. Guard your focus. Guard your silence. There is wisdom in pausing even during growth. There is strength in choosing fewer commitments so that your energy remains aligned with purpose. You are stepping into a season where your words will carry more weight. People will listen more closely. Opportunities will approach more frequently. But not every opportunity is assignment. Discernment will protect you now more than defense. And here is something that must be said clearly. Peace is your new normal. Do not romanticize past struggle. Do not subconsciously recreate tension because it feels familiar. You are allowed to experience stability without suspicion. Your guarded door has created room for expansion, not paranoia. If this message is strengthening you, if you feel that your awareness is sharpening as you listen, then do not keep it to yourself. Like this video as a declaration that your atmosphere is shifting. Share it with someone who needs their door reinforced. Comment below and declare, "Peace is my new normal." Subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that stands watch together. When you engage, you are amplifying clarity in places where confusion once tried to settle. And before you move forward, remember this. What is about to be revealed next will connect your influence to something even larger than your home. What you thought was personal protection is actually preparation for public impact. Hold your attention here, because the next layer will stretch your understanding in ways you did not expect. I remain at your front door, not in defense, but in affirmation. Your house is stable. Your mind is clearing. Your authority is rising. And the season ahead will not test your survival. It will reveal your leadership. Anointed soul, what you believed was a private battle at your front door is now unfolding into a revelation about your greater assignment. You thought the protection was only about keeping something out. But in truth, it was about preparing you to carry something out. There is a mantle forming over your life. Not a title the world gives, not a position announced publicly, but a spiritual weight of responsibility. When your door was under pressure, it was not random opposition. It was a test of capacity, and you have passed that test more gracefully than you realize. I, Archangel Michael, do not guard doors that lead nowhere. I stand watch over thresholds connected to destiny. Your life is not ordinary. Your home is not just shelter. It is a command center of influence. What flows from your words, your decisions, your energy, ripples further than you can see. And that is why the intruder's attempt was urgent. There is someone watching your life closely. Perhaps they do not even tell you. Perhaps they observe quietly. They are measuring how you respond to stress, how you handle misunderstanding, how you maintain peace when circumstances fluctuate. Your stability is becoming their blueprint. This is leadership without announcement. You are stepping into a season where your reactions preach louder than your sentences. When tension arises around you, your calm will redirect it. When confusion spreads, your clarity will anchor others. When fear whispers, your confidence will interrupt it. But leadership attracts resistance. Not because you are wrong, but because influence challenges disorder. The intruder that once tried to slip into your house will now attempt to provoke doubt about your capacity. It will whisper, "You are not qualified to guide anyone." It will suggest, "Stay small. Stay unnoticed. Do not step forward." Recognize that voice. It is not humility. It is hesitation disguised as safety. There is a reason you feel a growing sense of responsibility. A reason you sense that your choices matter more now. A reason you feel called to speak carefully and act intentionally. That awareness is not pressure. It is promotion. But promotion requires courage. You may soon find yourself in a moment where silence feels easier than truth. Where blending in feels safer than standing firm. Where withdrawing feels more comfortable than stepping up. That will be your next test. And understand this deeply. Courage is not loud. It is steady. It does not require confrontation. It requires conviction. The protection around your door has created a secure base. From that base, you are meant to operate, not hide. Your home is fortified so that your voice can move outward without fear of internal collapse. There is also a refinement happening in your discernment. You are beginning to sense people's intentions more clearly. You are reading between lines without paranoia. You are recognizing when energy aligns and when it does not. This is not suspicion. It is spiritual maturity. Use it wisely. Do not allow discernment to turn into isolation. Not everyone is an intruder. Not every disagreement is an attack. The lesson you have learned is not to close every door, but to guard it with wisdom. Balance is key. As your influence grows, so will invitations. Some will flatter you. Some will pressure you. Some will appeal to your ego. Stay anchored. The door you guard is more valuable than temporary approval. Remember what happened when you nearly reacted in offense. Remember how close distraction came. Those moments were reminders that vigilance must continue even after victory. You are not meant to live in defense, but you are meant to live aware. And there is something approaching that will require your steadiness. A conversation, an opportunity, a decision that affects more than just you. Others will look to you for direction. They will sense your calm and seek your perspective. Do not shrink. The same authority that sealed your door will steady your voice. I remain positioned, not because danger surrounds you, but because destiny is expanding around you. Expansion can feel intimidating. Growth can feel exposing. But you are equipped. The intruder once stood outside hoping for weakness. Now it stands at a distance watching strength rise. Your front door has become a symbol, not of fear, but of fortified purpose. The next phase will reveal how far your influence truly extends. And when it does, you will understand why the attack came before the assignment. Stay grounded. Stay aware. Stay aligned. Because what is unfolding is larger than protection. It is preparation for impact. Chosen vessel, what is unfolding now is not simply about guarding a door or stepping into influence. It is about covenant. There is a sacred agreement forming between your obedience and divine acceleration. The protection you experience was the evidence of that covenant. But what comes next will reveal its depth. When a door is defended by heaven, it is because what lies inside carries promise. And promise attracts opposition before it manifests. The intruder sensed that your household is entering a season of visible change. Not small internal adjustments, but tangible shifts that others will notice. Increase is approaching. It may not arrive in the form you expect. It may look like restored unity where tension once lived. It may look like provision arriving just when calculations seem tight. It may look like unexpected favor in conversations that once felt close. But make no mistake, something is moving toward you. The spiritual realm responds to alignment. And your recent awareness, your restraint in moments of offense, your refusal to entertain negativity, has created alignment. When alignment strengthens, acceleration follows. However, acceleration requires stability. That is why the guarding of your front door was so intense. Expansion without stability becomes chaos. But expansion built on guarded peace becomes legacy. There is a generational element connected to you. What you secure today will bless tomorrow. The atmosphere you cultivate now will influence those who step through your door in the future. Children, friends, family, even strangers who visit, they will feel something different. They will feel safety. The intruder did not only want access to your present, it wanted access to your lineage. It wanted patterns of fear and discouragement to recycle themselves through conversations and habits. But that pattern hath been interrupted. You are the interruption. An interruption requires courage to continue. Because when growth becomes visible, jealousy may attempt to surface around you. Not loud jealousy, but subtle comparison. People may question how things shifted for you. Some may celebrate you genuinely. Others may distance themselves quietly. Do not internalize their reaction. Elevation reveals hearts. You are not responsible for managing everyone's perception of your progress. You are responsible for stewarding the peace that made progress possible. I, Archangel Michael, remain there because expansion can feel vulnerable. When blessings become visible, scrutiny increases. But remember this truth: what heaven establishes cannot be undone by opinion. Your task is simple but powerful. Remain grounded in gratitude. Gratitude seals doors just as strongly as discernment. When you acknowledge divine help, pride cannot creep in. When you remember where you were before protection arrived, humility stabilizes you. There is also a financial shift hovering near your atmosphere. It may begin small. It may come through an opportunity you almost overlooked. But it will require you to act with wisdom. The intruder once tried to cloud your discernment, and now clarity will help you recognize doors that are meant to open. Do not rush. Do not fear. Evaluate calmly. Peace is your indicator. If an opportunity carries pressure but no peace, step back. If it carries responsibility but also clarity, lean in. Your internal door has been recalibrated to sense alignment. The next few weeks will feel different. Not dramatic but steady. Not explosive but progressive. And you may look back at this moment and realize it was the pivot point. The day you understood that protection was not panic, it was positioning. If this message confirms what you have been sensing, if you feel the shift already unfolding around your household, then respond in faith. Type covenant sealed in the comments as a declaration over your home. Blessing code 8824 is being released over your atmosphere right now. And as that seal settles, understand this: what once tried to enter as an intruder will now stand as a witness to your increase. As this covenant settles over your house, let your response become a seed that multiplies protection in other homes. When you release a super thanks, join as a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description. You are not funding a platform. You are extending a shield over families who do not yet know their doors can be guarded. The word declares that when you sow generously, you reap an overflowing measure, and that promise is alive over you now. I hear this in my spirit. I choose to build altars of light in other households. Let your giving become oil that keeps revelation burning where darkness has lingered. This is not charity. This is covenant action. As you move, may open heavens respond, and may provision chase you down at your own doorstep. Step into this divine exchange now and release your seed with bold faith. Steadfast one, now that covenant has been sealed and increase is quietly approaching your household, there is a refinement taking place within you that must not be overlooked. Protection guarded your door. Covenant secured your promise. But refinement will sustain your elevation. As blessings begin to move closer, the greatest temptation will not be fear. It will be familiarity. You may begin to grow comfortable with peace and slowly lower your awareness. You may assume that because the intruder failed once, it will never attempt again. Understand this clearly. While the same door cannot be used the same way, new levels require new discernment. The next phase of your journey will not be about obvious attacks. It will be about subtle compromises, small decisions that seem harmless, minor shifts in discipline, Gradual relaxation in areas where vigilance once stood firm. This is where maturity proves itself. I, Archangel Michael, am not standing at your front door in alarm. I stand as witness to your growth. But I must remind you that growth demands consistency. There are habits forming right now that will define your next season. The way you manage your time. The way you respond to inconvenience. The way you speak about your future when no one is listening. These patterns are shaping your atmosphere more than dramatic moments ever could. The intruder once tried to enter through emotional reaction. That path is closed. Now it will attempt something quieter, gradual distraction through comfort. Comfort can become complacency if not balanced with purpose. You may notice invitations that pull you away from focus, conversations that waste energy, activities that consume time without adding value. None of these are inherently harmful, but when accumulated, they dilute momentum. Refinement means choosing alignment repeatedly, even when nothing feels wrong. There is also an internal purification happening. You are becoming more sensitive to what disturbs your peace. Things you once tolerated now feel heavy quickly. Words that once seemed harmless now feel misaligned. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is elevation. Do not silence it. When your spirit feels unsettled around certain environments, pay attention. When something appears attractive but leaves you drained, evaluate it. When an opportunity excites you but unsettles your core, pause. Peace remains your compass. The covenant over your household has activated favor, but favor must be stewarded. Favor without wisdom becomes burden. Favor with discernment becomes legacy. You are stepping into conversations where your input carries weight. You may be asked to make decisions that affect more than just you. This is not pressure. It is trust being placed in your hands. And trust must be handled with integrity. Integrity is what keeps doors sealed long after protection has been declared. It is choosing honesty when shortcuts tempt you. It is choosing consistency when enthusiasm fades. It is choosing faith when visible results take time. The intruder cannot overpower you, but it will attempt to exhaust you slowly if given space. That is why rest remains sacred. That is why reflection remains necessary. That is why gratitude must remain constant. There is also something powerful approaching your spiritual awareness. A deeper sense of calling. A clearer understanding of why your household was targeted before your elevation. You will begin to see how past trials equipped you for present responsibility. Nothing was wasted. The nights of confusion sharpened your discernment. The moments of restraint strengthened your discipline. The guarded door prepared you for expanded territory. You are no longer reacting to intrusion. You are advancing with intention. And as you advance, remember this: refinement is ongoing. Growth does not mean perfection. It means progress. When you notice areas needing adjustment, correct them without condemnation. When you sense drift, realign gently, but firmly. Your strength lies not in never stumbling, but in correcting course quickly. The atmosphere around your home is stable now. The peace is not fragile. It is rooted. But roots must be nourished. Continue speaking life over your household. Continue protecting your thoughts from unnecessary negativity. Continue honoring the covenant through humility and gratitude. The intruder once stood at your door hoping for weakness. Now it watches from afar as discipline builds strength. And strength sustained over time becomes unshakable. What lies ahead will require steadiness more than defense. And you are becoming steady in ways that even you are just beginning to recognize. Remain consistent. Remain discerning. Remain aligned. because the next revelation will show you how your guarded door has become a gateway for others to find their own protection. Watchful one, the moment has arrived where everything that happened at your front door begins to make complete sense. What you thought was a personal spiritual confrontation was actually a public preparation. The guarding of your house was never meant to end with you. It was meant to establish you as a gatekeeper for others. There are people connected to your life who are standing before their own vulnerable doors right now. Some are overwhelmed. Some are confused. Some are silently battling thoughts they have not shared with anyone. And the stability you fought for will soon become the counsel they seek. This is why refinement was necessary. If your house had remained unstable, your advice would carry anxiety. If your mind had stayed clouded, your guidance would lack clarity. But because your door was reinforced, your words now carry weight. I, Archangel Michael, did not stand at your front door merely to defend wooden walls. I stood to awaken your authority. Authority is not loud dominance. It is quiet confidence rooted in alignment. And you are beginning to embody it. Soon, you may find someone opening out to you unexpectedly. They may describe tension in their home that sounds strangely familiar. They may speak about heaviness you once felt. And as they talk, you will realize that your past struggle has equipped you to respond with wisdom instead of panic. This is the shift. You are no longer the one searching for answers at the door. You are becoming the one who helps others secure theirs. But with influence comes responsibility. And responsibility requires continued vigilance. Do not allow praise to weaken your discipline. When others begin to admire your steadiness, remain humble. When they thank you for your insight, redirect glory upward. Remember who stood at your door first. The intruder may not be able to access you directly, but it will attempt to provoke you through external chaos. When others bring their storms to you, do not absorb them emotionally. Guide without carrying burdens that are not assigned to you. Discernment protects leaders from burnout. There is also a new level of visibility approaching. You may notice more attention around your decisions. More eyes observing your reactions. More voices weighing in on your path. This is not attack. It is expansion. And expand and demand emotional intelligence. Respond thoughtfully. Speak measured words. Maintain composure when misunderstood. Your calm will disarm more negativity than confrontation ever could. The guarding of your front door was training. Now the application begins. If this revelation is striking your spirit, if you recognize that your journey was preparation for something larger, then do not stay silent. Like this video as a declaration that you accept the responsibility of a guarded life. Share it with someone who needs reinforcement at their own door. Comment below and declare, I stand as a gatekeeper. Subscribe and remain connected to this community of awareness and protection. When you engage, you strengthen a network of households choosing vigilance over vulnerability. And hear this clearly before you move forward. The next stage will not test your defense. It will test your consistency under recognition. When people expect stability from you, will you maintain it privately? When your counsel is requested often, will you still prioritize your own alignment? Consistency will be your greatest shield now. I remain present, not because danger looms, but because transition requires support. The front door that once symbolized threat now symbolizes trust. Trust in your growth. Trust in the covenant. Trust in the authority that has been cultivated through every restrained reaction, every guarded thought, every disciplined choice. The intruder tried to enter quietly. Instead, it activated your calling loudly. And what stands before you now is not another attack. It is an invitation to lead with the same awareness that once protected you. Hold that awareness carefully, because what unfolds next will confirm that your guarded door was the beginning of a much wider assignment. Faithful guardian, you are standing in a moment of quiet confirmation. The storm that once threatened your front door has become a distant memory, yet its lesson remains alive within you. Everything you endured was training for stewardship. Stewardship of peace. Stewardship of influence. Stewardship of spiritual authority. You now understand that doors are not just entry points, they are responsibilities. What you allow in shapes what flows out, and what flows out impacts more lives than you can see. A reason the intruder's attempt felt so intense is because it was sent to test whether you would protect what was entrusted to you. It wanted to see if frustration could override discernment. It wanted to see if offense could override maturity. It wanted to see if distraction could override calling. But something inside you chose restraint over reaction. That choice shifted everything. I, Archangel Michael, have remained at your front door not as a symbol of fear, but as a witness to your evolution. You are not the same person who first sensed heaviness at your threshold. Your awareness is sharper. Your responses are measured. Your confidence is quieter but stronger. This is what spiritual growth looks like. It is non-dramatic. It is disciplined. You have learned that peace must be guarded intentionally, that gratitude must be practiced consistently, that humility must anchor influence. These lessons will sustain you longer than any moment of visible success. There is also a deeper revelation unfolding now. The intruder was never your equal. It relied on deception, not power. It relied on your agreement, not force. And once you withdrew agreement, it had no ground to stand on. This truth must remain with you. In the future, when subtle thoughts attempt to question your worth or timing, remember that deception only thrives where it is believed. The moment you challenge it with truth, it weakens. You are no longer easily shaken. Your home carries stability. Your voice carries clarity. Your presence carries reassurance. These are not small qualities. They are evidence of transformation. But the final lesson before your next expansion is this: never forget the doorway. Never forget how quickly heaviness tried to enter when vigilance slipped. Not to live in fear, but to remain aware. Awareness keeps strength sharp. There may be seasons ahead where success increases visibly, where your influence expands beyond your current circle, where opportunities multiply in ways you did not anticipate. When that happens, guard your interior life more than your public image. Public strength means little if private discipline fades. Continue creating moments of stillness. Continue examining your thoughts before they become words. Continue evaluating invitations before they become commitments. The guarding of your door was not a one-time event. It was the beginning of a lifestyle, and that lifestyle will preserve your elevation. You are also stepping into a phase where gratitude must become vocal. Speak appreciation over your household. Acknowledge growth. Celebrate small victories. Gratitude reinforces covenant. It keeps your heart aligned with the source of your protection. There is one final unveiling approaching, a realization that will tie every moment together. You will see how the attempted intrusion was not only a threat but a trigger for awakening. You will understand that without that pressure, your authority might have remained dormant. Sometimes confrontation activates calling. The intruder came to destabilize. Instead, it clarified your identity. You are a guardian of atmosphere, a steward of peace, a leader formed through quiet discipline. And as you prepare for what comes next, remember this: doors respond to those who understand their value. Your front door once symbolized vulnerability. Now it symbolizes victory. Remain steady. Remain grateful. Remain vigilant. Because what is about to be revealed will confirm that the message you received was not simply protection. It was commissioning. I steadfast one, we have reached the moment where everything becomes clear. When I first declared, I, Archangel Michael, am standing at your front door right now. There's a spiritual intruder trying to enter. It sounded urgent. It sounded alarming. It sounded like danger was seconds away. But now you understand the deeper truth. The announcement was never about panic. It was about awakening. The intruder was real, yes. The pressure was real. The heaviness you felt was not imagination. But the greater reality was this. You were being called to rise into your authority. You were never meant to live casually at your own doorway. Your life carries weight. Your household carries influence. Your decisions ripple further than you can see. And heaven will always guard what carries divine assignment. But heaven also expects partnership. When the knock came, you could have ignored it. You could have dismissed the discomfort. You could have reacted emotionally and allowed offense, fear, or distraction to widen the crack. But instead, you listened. You became aware. You chose restraint over reaction. You chose peace over panic. You chose discernment over impulse. And that choice sealed your door. I, Archangel Michael, did not stand at your entrance because you were weak. I stood there because you were chosen to understand something most people overlook. The door is not just a barrier. It is a responsibility. From this day forward, you will never look at your thoughts casually again. You will never entertain negativity without examining its source. You will never treat your atmosphere as accidental. You are now a conscious guardian. The spiritual intruder that once tried to enter has no authority here. Not because it stopped existing, but because you stopped agreeing. You stopped partnering with doubt. You stopped amplifying fear. You stopped rehearsing discouragement. Agreement is power, and you have reclaimed yours. There will still be knocks in the future. There will still be moments that test your composure. There will still be whispers that attempt to question your worth or timing. But now you know the pattern. You know that intrusion begins subtly. You know that protection responds to awareness. You know that peace is not passive. It is defended intentionally. Your front door has become a symbol of spiritual maturity. And here is the final revelation. The message you received was not only about stopping an intruder. It was about activating a guardian. It was about commissioning you to live alert, aligned, and anchored. It was about showing you that heaven responds swiftly when you are willing to respond consciously. You are not a victim of unseen forces. You are a steward of sacred space. And as you step into this next season, your home will feel different. Your conversations will feel different. Your thoughts will feel clear. Not because there will never be opposition again, but because you now know how to stand at your door with confidence. The urgency at the beginning has become stability at the end. The warning has become wisdom. Attention has become testimony. If this message has awakened something deep within you, if you feel the authority rising in your spirit as you hear these words, then seal this moment with intention. Type "My door belongs to God" in the comments as your declaration. Blessing code 7319 is now activated over your household. Let this code be a reminder that your threshold is consecrated, your atmosphere is guarded, and your authority is recognized in the unseen. I remain near, not in alarm but in affirmation. Your door is secure. Your covenant is intact. Your calling is active. Walk forward knowing that what once tried to enter has now become the reason you stand stronger than ever before. As your door stands consecrated and your authority awakened, do not let this fire stop with you. When you release a super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil on the thresholds of other homes still trembling under silent pressure. The Lord declares, as you open your hand, I open the windows of heaven over you, and that promise is alive in this very moment. I hear this stirring. I will be a guardian for other households through my seed. Your giving becomes light at someone else's doorway, a shield where confusion once knocked. This is not a casual offering. It is a prophetic act of agreement with protection. As you move in obedience, may increase meet you at your own front door and overflow into your house. Act now and release your seed with bold faith.